Imagine a mysterious illness spreading through a remote tribe, causing people to tremble, lose control of their bodies, and eventually die while laughing uncontrollably. No one knows why. No fever, no infection, just a terrifying descent into madness. This is the story of Kuru, one of medicine's most chilling discoveries. Kuru was first reported in the 1950s among the Fore people of Papua New Guinea. Entire families were being struck down, mostly women and children. The symptoms were bizarre: shaking limbs, loss of balance, slurred speech, and bursts of involuntary laughter. Death usually came within a year. Local belief blamed sorcery, but as more cases appeared, doctors and anthropologists began to investigate, and what they uncovered was shocking. It turned out that the disease was being spread through a funerary tradition, ritual cannibalism. As a final act of love and mourning, members of the Fore tribe, particularly women, would prepare and eat the flesh of deceased relatives, including their brains. The children often ate alongside them. But what no one knew at the time was that the brain tissue of someone who had died from Kuru contained something deadly: prions. Infectious, misfolded proteins that destroy the brain from the inside out. Prions are unlike any other infectious agent. They're not viruses, bacteria, or parasites. They're just proteins, but twisted into a shape that turns normal brain proteins into more prions, like a domino effect in your neurons. Once inside the brain, prions cause spongiform degeneration, literally turning brain tissue into a sponge full of holes. That's why Kuru, like mad cow disease and Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, causes tremors, confusion, emotional instability, and eventually death. What's more terrifying? Prions can take years, even decades, to show symptoms. So someone could be infected and not know for decades. Here's the strange part. Men were mostly spared. Why? Because in the Fore community, men typically didn't participate in funerary cannibalism. Women and children were the ones preparing and consuming the brain tissue, exposing them directly to the infectious prions. This observation was the key that helped scientists solve the mystery. It wasn't sorcery. It was science. Careful tracking of cultural behavior led to one of the most groundbreaking discoveries in neurology. Once cannibalistic practices stopped in the 1960s, new cases of Kuru began to disappear. But because of the long incubation time, the last known death occurred decades later in 2009. Today we understand prion diseases far better, but there's still no cure. Prions are nearly indestructible. They're resistant to heat, radiation, even chemicals that destroy DNA. Once they infect the brain, the damage is irreversible. Researchers are exploring experimental therapies to block prion replication or stabilize healthy proteins. But so far, success has only been seen in animals or in the very early stages of disease. The Kuru story, however, was pivotal. It helped us understand a whole class of deadly neurodegenerative conditions and revealed how cultural practices can affect public health in ways no one ever expected. And it shows us how careful observation and science can solve even the most mysterious illnesses. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out more medical mysteries that shook the world.